once again for this presentation. Now we will be looking into the concept of determinate truss. In the previous session, I have discussed the way to analyze a structure by using influence line diagram, that is a beam oriented structures. Now we will be looking into determinate truss. You would have learned that there are two kinds of structures, that is frame oriented structure and truss oriented structure, and how to draw the influence line in this previous module. And currently the same concept is going to be used in case of truss. So there are certain things which are varying from frames and a truss. A frame can take shear force, bending moment and axial force, but in case of a truss it is designed for taking axial load only. A truss can also take bending moment and shear force, but we are designing in such a way that it only takes the axial force, so that in order to reduce the material cost, and it is the way of design, it is the way of arranging the material. So a truss is a kind of arrangement where you will be having purely tensile force or compressive force, that is under axial force. So if you want to determine the internal forces when the truss is subject to a moving load, so let us take an example in order to understand this concept. A Pratt truss has a span of 40 meter. This is the pattern of Pratt truss. The support A and B, which is hinged end, and this is a roller end, hence it is termed to be as a determinate structure. And in between that you have a truss. Each and every bay of a truss have 4 meter, hence it is a 40 meter span. Okay, right now when a moving load is moving from the point A to point B, it can be a UDL, it can be a point load, whatever might be. So if it is moving from one place to another, we know that load which is transferred to each and every member is different. So the top members will be taking compressive forces always throughout the movement of the load, the top members. So due to number of analysis, we would have got this understanding, and the bottom members which will be taking tensile force throughout the movement of the load, and the inclined members take both compressive and tensile force. So both the forces are taken according to the movement of load. So this is the way in which the pattern of forces is distributed in the trusses. This problem, a Pratt truss of 40 meter, a depth of 4 meter, and it is divided into 10 equal parts. So this is the depth of the truss, and draw the influence line for the load in the top boom of the 8th panel. Okay, first you have to draw influence line for 8th panel. So this is panel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is the 8th panel from the left hand support. So this joint is taken as D, E and H, I. So these are the joints which comes under the 8th panel. And the next thing is for the diagonal in the 6th panel from the same support when the bottom chord is loaded. When we want to look into the 6th panel, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the 6th panel, and it is covered by the joint GCF, and you can take this as S. And these are the 4 joints, and this is the member, this is the diagonal member which we are interested. Currently we are interested in 3 members about the behavior due to the moving load. So they are GF, TE and HI. So these are the 3 members which we will be identifying the force. Okay. Determine the loads in the member when a uniform load of 40 kN per meter and 10 meter long crosses the bridge. So here a UDL is crossing from the bridge from left hand side to right, and it has a intensity of 40 kN per meter and 10 meter long. Let us find what are the forces which is acting in this three members. We have to solve this problem by using influence line. First you have to find the influence line for this three member, and then we shall apply the moving load. To find the influence line, first let us consider the member DE. So this is the member DE which is top of the cord, and if you want to find reactions, you can assume a point load. You can assume a unit load which is having a distance of x, and this is the total distance of 40 meter. If you want to find RA, this is the formula, that is 40 minus x by 40, and if you want to find the reaction of RB, you will be having x by 40. This is the formula which is derived from L minus x by L and x by L. And let us go to the second step. Yes, we need to draw the influence line for the member DE. In order to find that, let us split the members into two halves. So this is the interested panel. So let us cut the panel into two halves, that is left hand side and right hand side. These will be the region 1 and region 2. This is the region which we are considering, that is the panel 8 will be the region which we are interested, and the rest of the panel will be taken as region 1, and this we can take it as region 2 and the other one as region 3. Okay, now if you want to draw the influence line, what you have to draw is you have to split the member into two sides. So let us take this left hand side and right hand side, and while applying load at left hand side, you should take the reaction at the right hand side. This is the concept. Okay, now let us find the member DE. In order to take the moment at DE, let us consider the joint H. If I am considering the joint H, and what are the members there? DE, and if I am looking into the right hand side, so this is the section. These two forces are loaded at the joint D, and this is loaded at the joint H. This member is joined at E. Okay, so and while taking the moment at point H, when taking the right hand side, so you have a force here and joint starting at E and ends at D. So FED. FED will be acting anti-clockwise, and FED into distance is 4 meter, and minus FED 4 meter is written here, and you have a RB, that is reaction at B, that will be X by L. So RB into distance from the H you have, so one panel is 4 meter, totally 12 meter up to H. So RB into 12. So this is also anti-clockwise. So both the things are anti-clockwise. So if you need FED here, you can take this outside, and FED will be minus RB into 12 divided by 4. So we know that RB is X by 40, and after substituting this and simplifying, that will be 0.075 into X. So if we need influence line at joint A, let us substitute X equal to 0, and at the point A it will be, if I substitute 0 here, it will become 0, and if I need at the point H, so totally I have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 panels. So 7 into 4 is 28, and so that is at joint H. So joint H, if I am substituting the distance as 28, I will be getting minus 2.1. So this is in terms of minus, so I will be getting minus 2.1 as the ordinate. So this is the peak of the ordinate where you will be getting the maximum intensity. So I can join from 0 to this highest ordinate. So after that, automatically you will be getting the next part. If you want to calculate manually, you can calculate and check. You will be getting the same 2.1 when you are considering, if you are taking this load at right hand side and considering the left hand panel, you will be getting the same 2.1 after calculating. So we got an influence line which is in terms of negative. So negative in this sense, this is compressive force. The influence line is purely in terms of compressive force. Now we have drawn the influence line for the member DE. Let us find influence line for the member HI, the bottom chord member. So if I want to find the influence line for this member HI, I can take the moment at point D. So I will be getting the perpendicular distance. The load is assumed as acting in left hand side of the region, and let us take the right hand side panel. So the same thing, FIH. So this is starting from the joint I and ending at the joint H. So force at IH, which is clockwise, and hence it is taken as positive force IH into 4. So the distance is 4 here, and you have RB into distance, which is 12. So this is anti-clockwise, hence it is taken as minus RB into 12. So if I need FIH, I can take RB outside and substituting RB as x by L, that is x by 40, and simplifying I will be getting 0.075 x. So this is in terms of positive. Note that while finding the functions here, in the case of DE we got the function as negative, and now we got the function as positive. This shows that the bottom chord has tensile force while the moving load is acting. Okay. After getting that, you can substitute the limits. When x equal to 0 at the point A, you will be getting 0, and x equal to 28 at the point H, you will be getting 2.1 as the ordinate. Now this is a positive ordinate, hence we can consider that this is a tensile force which is acting when the load is moving. So the influence line for the member DE and HI is being drawn. Okay. Next, let us take the member FG. So if we want to consider FG, let us split the section into two halves, which is left hand side and right hand side half. Apply the load at left hand side part, and let us consider the right hand side. So conventionally, while starting your understanding, take the same way as this problem is proceeded. After getting some experience, you can take at right hand side and you can look at the joint A and you can try it by your own. So while learning, follow this process in order to understand. Okay. So you have the ability to stretch your wings and you are an independent person. While learning, let us learn certain things in a formal way in order to achieve an informal, independent understanding. Okay. So after taking into two sections, I will be considering, after placing the load at left hand side, I will be considering the right hand half section. So here we are interested in finding the inclined force, that is FFG, and this is FFG. Now we will be using sum of vertical force equal to 0. In the right hand side I have two reactions, that is RB and this inclined member. And if I resolve into vertical, what happens? This will become a downward force. So while resolving, you need a theta here. How to find this theta? You know the panel width is 4 meter and the height of the panel is 4 meter. So both are 4 meter, then you will be getting an angle of 45 degree. If you have 45 degree in one side, both the sides will be having 45 and 45 degree. So due to the triangular property, the same angle will be 45 and 45 here. During the resolution of forces, if you want to resolve it vertically, you can use sin theta. So FFG is resolved vertically, hence it is taken as sin theta, and it is taken as negative. Why? Because this force after resolving in downward direction. Okay, then you have upward force, which is RB. So RB is taken as positive, and if you want FFG, you can take it outside and you can divide it by sin theta, and RB is x by 40, and you know that theta is 45 degree, and if you multiply that, and you will be getting an decimal function of 0.035x. Now in order to find that influence line at the point A, if you substitute 0, you will be getting FFG as 0. At the point G, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panels, that is 5 into 4 is 20. So G is at a point of 20, and if you substitute 20 here, you will be getting 0.707, so which will be positive here. And you can note that at the point of G, you will be getting 0.707, and if you substitute x equal to 20, you will be getting 1.414. So this will be our answer if you continue this. Okay, after this point, if the load crosses the region GC and it reaches the third region, what happens? The load crosses at the section GC and it goes to the right hand side. And if it goes to the right hand side, let us find the influence line after that. So you have to consider the left hand part, that is RA. So you have RA is acting upward, and if we are placing the rod at right hand side of this region, you can take the G. So G is the inclined member here, and you have theta, and after resolving this vertically, you will be getting FGF. So FGF will be sine theta, which is positive, and RA is also positive. So both the forces are positive. We know that RA is 40 minus x by 40, and if you want to find FGF, you can substitute here, and if you substitute theta equal to 45 degree, and if you simplify, you will be getting 0.0354 into this fraction. So this is a function. When you substitute FGF equal to 0 at point A, so FGF equal to 0, you will be getting minus 1.41. So at the point 0, you will be getting 1.41, and if I need at point C, I have to substitute x equal to 24. So at the point C, I am substituting x equal to 24, I am getting minus 0.566, which is in terms of negative. So we can understand that if the load crosses at the right hand side region, you will be having a compressive force, and when the load is at region A to G, you will be having a tensile force here. Okay, now we got all the influence line diagram. So after that, we have to place the load such a manner that you will be getting the maximum force. So we know the concept of arriving a maximum force for a UDL, the same concept which is being used for the trusses, for the beams, whatever concept you have used for UDL and point load. Truss, after getting the influence line diagram, you have to place the load to get the maximum ratio. So let us place the load in a particular ratio that you will be getting maximum force. So we know that if this is the influence line diagram for IH, so this is the member I and H, and if you want that, you have to place the load at the same ratio. So you are having a ratio here, so this is the point of I here. So the I is at a distance of 28 meter and the remaining distance is 12 meter. So for 28 divided by 40, so this is the ratio for the influence line diagram. So the same ratio has to be provided for the UDL. So we know that the UDL has a span of 10 meter and the intensity of 40. So let us find the distance, that is 28 by 40. This is the influence line ratio, and if you have to apply the same ratio for the load, so you don't know the ratio, let us take this as P, and the total UDL distance will be 10 meter, and if I cross multiply this, I will be getting P equal to 7 meter. So from the left hand side, take the ratio as 7 meter. Why? Because we have taken 28 from the left hand side, hence the load has to be placed at the left hand side 7 meter and the rest of the distance will be 3 meter. So this is the way to provide the load. In order to find the force, we know that we have to multiply the area into the load. So this is the concept. So in order to find maximum force at IH, you have to multiply the area into load. So what is the area here? You are having a trapezoid here which is having a ordinate. So if you want to find this ordinate, you can use the formula vertical to horizontal ratio. So we know the vertical ordinate ratio, this is 2.1, we have earlier found, and this is the horizontal distance 28. So you can find at a distance you require. So you require from a distance of 7 meter from the point I. So 28 minus 7 will be 21. So you can use the vertical by horizontal ratio. For 2.1 vertical, the horizontal is 28. So 2.1 by 28, and for 21 meter horizontal, what is the vertical? So if you multiply that, you will be getting 1.575. The same way you can find this for the end of the UDL. So you know that the remaining distance is 12 meter. So for 2.1 vertical, you can take 12 meter at a distance of 12 minus 3, that is 9. At a distance of 9 meter, what is the x here? So you will be getting 1.575 as this ordinate. So after getting these three ordinates, you can see a trapezoid here, trapezoid 1, and this is the trapezoid 2. So in order to find the area, take this as A ordinate and this as B ordinate. So the formula is A plus B divided by 2. So you have to add this 2 ordinate and into L. So this is the distance. So the distance is known as L. So let us apply in this formula. A is 1.575 and B is 2.1 divided by 2 into L is 7. And for this remaining area, A is 2.1 and B is 1.575 divided by 2 into the distance now is 3 meter. So you will be getting the area by using this, and if you multiply into load, and the load of the UDL is 40 kilonewton per meter. So after multiplying, you will be getting 735 kilonewton. So this is the maximum load which will be acting in the member IH. Now we have found out the maximum load of the member IH. Now let us consider the member load GF. So this is the inclined member. We already got the influence line diagram. At the point of A it is 0, at the point of G you have 0.707, at the point of B you got 1.41. The same way you got at the point of F you got 0.556. So this is the influence line. By using this influence line, let us find the member forces. And for finding the member load GF, that is at the region, let us take the influence line into two halves. This is one half of influence line, that is M, G, A. So this is one half of influence line, and let us take another half as M, F, B. So this will be another half of the influence line. So in order to find GF, let us take G, M, A, G. So let us take this influence line pattern, and so this is how it will look like. So this is at the point of M and G and A. We got this. So the total distance from G to A is 20 meter, and we have to find this 2.2. What is this 2.2? So you got the transition point. So this is the transition point between G and F. So we have taken G and F here. So during this transition point, we know the ordinate at G as 0.707 and at F as 0.566. And you know the distance between G and F is 4 meter. So you can refer the diagram. So each panel has 4 meter. So you don't know the distance of X where it reaches the midpoint M. So in order to find that, you can use the vertical by horizontal ratio. So this is the vertical 0.707 x by 0.707. So this is one ratio, and 4 minus x by 0.566. This is the vertical by horizontal ratio, other one. You can equate this ratio in order to find x. So the only unknown is x here. You can cross multiply and you can take all the x component of one side and you can divide 2.83 divided by this x component, and you will be getting x equal to 2.22 meter from the left hand side. Why? Because the x is taken from the left hand side and you have now found that the distance here is 2.2, and if this is 4 meter, if you subtract 2.2 here, you will be getting the remaining distance as 1.78 meter. Okay, so now we have found out that this distance is 2.2. So the distance from G to M is 2.2 is written here. Now let us place the load in this influence line in order to find the maximum force. So due to that, the M, this is the midpoint M, before this point, when there is a moving load, you will be getting tensile force. So after that, after crossing the M point, when it moves to the other part, that is from M to B, it will be taking the compressive load. So this is what the pattern. So in order to find the maximum force in tension, let us find this member load GF. Okay, when you want to find that, you have to place the load in such a way that you have the same ratio in terms of influence line. So the peak of the influence line is at a distance of 20 meter. So you totally have a 22.2 meter distance. You got the maximum at 20 meter from the point A. That is 20 by 22.2. So 20 by 22.2, and this will be taken as x divided by 10. So the UDL total distance is 10. If you take this ratio, you are getting x equal to 9 meter. From the maximum ordinate, the left hand side will be 9 meter and the remaining 1 meter will be at right hand side. So after placing the load, you have to find the ordinate. So how to find the ordinate? You can use the same concept of vertical by horizontal. So you will be getting 0.707 as vertical for 20 meter horizontal. If you need at the point of 11 meter, you will be getting the ordinate as 0.388. So the same way you can find at this ordinate. So you are getting the same value of 0.388, and after getting the area, you have to substitute in this formula. So the formula is area into load. So you got the area trapezoid and first trapezoid and second trapezoid, and just you have to substitute the ordinate. So A is 0.388 and B is 0.707. So A plus B divided by 2 into L. So the L here is 9 meter and the remaining term is 0.707 plus 0.388 divided by 2 into the distance L is 1 meter. So if I add this, I will be getting the area. So now I got the terms as 4.92 plus 5.05 into the load will be 40. So I am getting the load of 219 as the tensile force. Okay, so let us find the other half of the influence line for FG. So this is the remaining half of influence line. The F is located at a point of 16 meter from the joint B. So the remaining distance, earlier we have found out this is 1.78. While locating the load, we have the ratio. This is maximum ordinate and the ratio is total distance is 17.78. So this is 16 and this is 1.78. So totally 17.78. Take this as 1.78 divided by the total distance as 17.78. So this is the influence line ratio. The same ratio we shall provide for this UDL, and the UDL total distance is 10 meter and the x distance we have to find. If you cross multiply, you will be getting x distance as 1 meter. So the load has to be 1 meter at the left hand side and rest should be at right hand side. So 10 minus 1 will be 9. So the 9 meter will be at the right hand side portion. So this is the ratio of load. After locating this load, you have to find the ordinate. So you know the ordinate at F, you have 0.566. In order to find the ordinate at the end of the load at left hand side and right hand side, you can use the ratio, vertical by horizontal ratio. In left hand side, it is taken as Z. So this is 0.566 vertical divided by 1.78 horizontal. So the horizontal distance second ratio is 0.78. The ordinate is taken as Z, and after cross multiplying, we got the value of 0.2476 meter. So this is one ordinate, and the other ordinate you can find by using the same ratio. That is, for 16 meter you got 0.566, for 16 0.566, and for 7 meter what is the ordinate? So it is taken as Y, and you found that it is 0.2476. So this is the next ordinate value, and after getting that, substitute in the same way as you have substituted earlier. So the formula is area into load. After substituting that, you will be getting the value of 162.72 kilonewton. So this is the force which is acting at the right hand side. Now we came to the end of the session. First we got the value of DE. For the member HI, we got the value of 735 kilonewton. So due to the same pattern of influence line, we have found the value of HI. The same value you will be getting in terms of opposite sign for the member DE. So we got the maximum force which is acting whatever might be the load. So either the load can be at left hand side and at right hand side. The maximum force which can happen at HI is 7 kilonewton, and at the portion of DE as minus 735. Why this is indicated in this symbol negative is it is taking compressive force. By analyzing the influence line, you got negative influence line. At the member HI, you got positive influence line. Hence, the bottom cord will be acting tensile force, and top cord you will be getting compressive force. So whatever might be the load. In case of GEF, when the load is crossing the first half, that is from A to G, you will be getting the value of 219 as the maximum force. When it crosses the point C, and if it goes to the point B, at this section you will be getting the value of minus 162.72. So this will be compressive and this will be tensile. When the load is at left hand side portion of GC, you will be having tensile, and if the load is crossing C to B, you will be getting a compressive force. So this is the pattern of the diagonal member. After getting this value, you can take the maximum of this value and you can design a section for this requirement. So this is the way to find for a truss. First, deriving the influence line for each and every members what you require, and after arriving the influence line, place the load. It might be a UDL or it might be a point load. Place the load at the same ratio what you have done in the beam concept, which will help you in solving the truss analysis. I hope you got some clear idea and knowledge in this session, and see you soon. Happy learning. See you again. Thank you.